So I just wanted to share with you a simple technique that can help you to become more confident. Now, this technique is something where you've got to stand up to do it. So what I want you to do is just take a moment to stand up where you are, and make sure obviously you're doing this at a time when you can pay this your full attention. So you don't want to be distracted by anything else or having to have your attention on anything else. So now you're stood up. What I want you to do is to imagine a circle on the floor just in front of you. And you can close your eyes to do this if you want and just listen along to what I'm saying. So imagine a circle on the floor in front of you and imagine a confident version of yourself stood inside that circle. Now, if you're one of the few people that struggles to imagine a confident version of yourself, then imagine a confident person. So someone who you know exudes confidence. So it could be a real person or it could be fictional, for example. It could be that maybe the character Superman, you think of them as really confident, and so how they're played is in a really confident way. So it could be a fictional person. It doesn't matter whether it's fictional, real, or whether it is yourself as a confident person in front of you. So just imagine them stood with their back to you. So they're facing the same direction as you. So they're stood in that circle right in front of you, just a pace or so forwards from you. And they've got their back to you and they're standing there confidently. And just watch them in your mind's eye. Just watch them in that circle and think, how do I know that they're confident? So start thinking about that. Think, how are they standing that lets me know they're confident? So imagine scanning up and down them and thinking, right, how are their feet? How are they planting themselves to the ground? How are they breathing? Are they doing fast and shallow breaths? Are they doing long and deep breaths? How are they breathing? How are their shoulders? What's their posture? Have they got their back straight? Have they got their shoulders back? Have they got their arms apart, their hands open? How are they standing? So just take a look at them and think, what is it about them that lets me know that that person there is confident? And just look at them, just get a sense of that confident person in front of you. And just have a sense, almost like you can turn on their inner dialogue. So it's like being able to somehow access the volume to that inner dialogue. Think about what sort of things do they say to themselves because they're confident. How do they talk to themselves in their head because they're confident? So once you've done this, you'll have a representation in front of you of someone who's confident, someone who has that confidence that you would like to have. So the next step is to step inside that confident person. So take a step forward and step into their shoes so that you're now stepping into the circle and you're becoming them. So as you step into the circle, start fitting yourself into them. So if they've got their shoulders back, then you'll put your shoulders back and you'll squeeze yourself in as if you're wearing a suit, a confidence suit. So you stand into that circle, squeeze yourself in, fit in, and just think about, how does it feel to be like this? So you let their breathing take on with you and you start taking on their breathing. And so you start becoming them, just to try it on. So try on that confidence, try on being that person. And see what it's like to feel that confidence. See what the world looks like. So your eyes are perhaps closed at the moment while you're doing this, but have a sense of what the world must look like through that confident perspective. Think about what that internal dialogue is that's going through your mind whilst you're being that confident person. And then have a sense of moving around a little bit as that confident person and see what that feels like. And then while you are this confident person stood in this circle, have a sense of a scene appearing around you where you think, I would like to be this confident in that situation. And allow that scene to form around you, around that circle. And whilst you become absorbed in that scene, just start to have a sense of what it's like to be this confident person in that scene, and see how things go differently. And then once you've done that with one situation, you can change and do it with another situation. And then you can change and do it with another situation. So you can try a few different situations, see what it's like being this confident person in those situations. And then once you've done that, you can give yourself a kind of trigger. Now there's a couple of ways you could do this. So I'll tell you my favourite way, the way that I do it personally. Now when I do this, I imagine that circle in front of me. So say I'm about to go and do some public speaking and I'm not feeling overly confident. I'm thinking, this is my first talk on this subject, and so I haven't really learned exactly what I want to say. I've not tested it on anyone, so I don't know quite how it's going to go down, and so I'm having all these doubts and I'm not feeling as confident as perhaps I'd like to. But because of my knowledge, I'm aware that if I'm not feeling particularly confident, then I'm going to do even worse. Whereas if I'm feeling confident, not confident it's going to go well or anything like that, because I don't know that. And you can't be confident about something you don't know. You can only be confident about things you do know. But what I've got the confidence in is that I'll be going out there, I'll be doing my best, and that I'm confident that I know what I'm likely to say and what I need to cover, even if I'm not confident about how it's going to be received yet. So it's about making sure that what you're choosing to be confident about is stuff that is 100% within your control, not trying to be confident about things that are out of your control, or trying to be confident about things that you just don't have the knowledge to back up the confidence. So for example, I can't drive, I get public transport everywhere, or I walk everywhere. So it would be reckless of me to decide to be confident as a driver and to get into a car and confidently declare that I'm going to drive this car, because I don't know how to drive. So that confidence would be misplaced. So obviously you want the confidence to be in the right situation. So what I do, say I'm going to give a talk, is as I walk to where, say up to where I'm going to be presenting, so it could be from the side wings out to the front, what I'll do is as I walk out, I imagine a circle on the ground, and I imagine seeing that confident Dan stood in that circle. And as I walk through that circle, I walk through the circle and step into the Dan, and then I keep walking, and I do all of this adjusting that I've just talked about, of fitting myself into that confident Dan. I do all that as I continue walking. So it's like I'm walking into some kind of a confident Dan suit. So I walk along, and as I step into that Dan suit in that circle, that Dan suit then steps with me and carries on with me, and then myself and that Dan suit, that confident Dan suit, carry on walking whilst I'm taking on the sort of fitting into the suit and becoming more confident. So by the time I get to the front, having perhaps just been introduced as, you know, here's Dan to give his talk or whatever, I'm confident. I'm stood there, I've got that suit on, I'm now stood there confidently able to do that performance. So that's how I do it. I step in and walk through the circle, taking on the confidence as I walk through the circle, so that me and the confidence become one beyond the circle by the time I'm doing whatever it is I need to be confident doing. The other way is you can do something called anchoring. Now, anchoring is just the process of linking a stimulus and a response. So what you can do, for example, is touch an ear, touch your earlobe. Or you can bring a thumb and finger together. Or you can clench a fist. Or you can do any other kind of gesture or even a word. So you could have a specific keyword that you say to yourself. So what you're doing is you've got that confident you in that circle. And then whilst you're in that confident you here and now, if you want to use anchoring, you can then think, right, I'm going to link this feeling of confidence, this being confident, with bringing my thumb and first finger together. And then when I bring my thumb and first finger together, I know that that's the signal for myself to allow that confidence suit almost, to come up and fill me and become a confident being. And so then what you can do if you're going to do the anchoring is just take a moment to step back out of the circle. And then when you step into the circle and you step into that confident suit again, you step into that confident person in that circle, trigger your anchor. So say thumb and first finger. So you trigger that anchor, you put your thumb and first finger together as you step into the suit, and you hold that and you feel the confidence, you let that bubble up through you, you feel what the emotions feel like, you notice how you perceive the world differently, you get that certain tonality of voice in your head with your internal dialogue, you take on that posture. And then once you've got that and you think, yeah, I can really feel this confidence rising and this confidence growing and building, then release the anchor, so release your thumb and finger, and then step back out of the circle. And then open your eyes for a moment, and then close your eyes, and then do the same again. Step into the circle, and as you do, step into that suit, that confident being. Bring your thumb and finger together, trigger that anchor again. Feel it all flood up through you again. Feel it that because I triggered this anchor, brought this thumb and finger together, this confidence grows within me. Feel all that take hold. And then when it reaches a peak, you think, yes, I can really feel it now, I'm really confident now, the internal dialogue is correct now, all these things. Then again, let that thumb and finger come apart and step back out of the circle again. And just do this 3 or 4 times, stepping into the circle, letting that confidence flood through you as you trigger the anchor. And then releasing the anchor, stepping out of the circle, opening your eyes. So what you're doing is really just breaking the state, making sure that when you step back into the circle again, you're going to be able to start from the beginning again and let it all build up again. So you open your eyes, then you close your eyes, then you step into that circle again, triggering the anchor at the same time, letting it all well up through your body, grow up, filling you with the feeling of confidence, with the thoughts of confidence, with the behaviours of confidence, with the body language of confidence. And then once it reaches a peak and you can really feel it and feel like a confident being, you release that anchor, you step back out of the circle again. And then what happens is that once you've done that a number of times, you can just bring the thumb and finger together. And without having to step into the circle, that will help you. You think, right, I'm going to bring this thumb and finger together or trigger the anchor, whatever anchor you've chosen. And then that alone is enough to make you start to feel that grow inside you, feel that confidence growing and building inside you. And then you can practice that a few times. And then what happens is when you come to need that confidence in a situation, say for public speaking or whatever it happens to be, you can then say it's public speaking. Someone says, and hi, so now we've got Dan Jones coming and joining us and explaining a bit about me. And so here's Dan Jones, and everyone claps. And as you walk out, you bring your thumb and finger together, you trigger that confidence, you suddenly feel your shoulders going back, you feel your internal dialogue changing, getting that tonality of confidence, you feel your breathing deepen, you suddenly perceive the world through this lens of confidence. And then you smile and you just start because you triggered that anchor. So it's something that you can also practice over and over again. So you can do this technique in your own time over and over again to really, every time you do it, you're building that confidence more and more and making that confidence stronger and more powerful and easier to re-trigger. So the first time you bring your thumb and finger together to trigger the confidence, you may have to put a bit of conscious effort into thinking, yes, I've got to really feel this growing now. And you have to think about what you're doing. But when you get to your 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th time of doing this, just bringing your thumb and finger together, a bit like Pavlov's dogs salivating just because they hear a ringing bell. The first time they hear a ringing bell and get presented with some food and they don't think much of it. But as time goes on, the connection gets stronger and stronger and stronger, so that eventually you don't have to worry about making sure you present the food as well as the bell. You just have to ring the bell and that's enough to cause the salivation. So that's what you're doing. So I hope this technique has been helpful for you. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and click subscribe as well, and you'll get more Mind Changers videos. And we cover a whole range of topics. If you've got questions you'd like us to answer, just feel free to post comments below, or go to our Facebook page, post comments there, and we'll do our best to answer the questions and make videos about different things you'd like to know, quick techniques, things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.